You're watching the 2025-26 SCAC Basketball Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the Centenary College ladies women's basketball program. Ladies will be led as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Rennie Bailey, along with leadership from senior forward Kyra Stokes. And Coach Kyra, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Hello,
Coach,
thank you for having us.
Coach, we'll open things up with you. First off, welcome into the SCAC, taking over as the new head coach of this ladies basketball program there in Shreveport. I'm interested just kind of what attracted you to this program and your new spot there in Shreveport, and how excited are you to get to work, start building this program, and get this first season underway?
Well, very excited about the program and being here. There's an interesting twist in reference to how I got here. On the initial, the men's basketball position was open, and I applied for it, and really was one of the two finalists. And of course, already that they made the decision to go with J.A. England, which I think was a great decision for sure. Once the opportunity allowed itself to have an opportunity to coach the women. So 3 weeks later, after the administration made the decision to go with J.A., Coach Reed resigned. And so at the time, when the last time I spoke with athletic director David Orr, he told me that if he ever had another position, he would like for me to work with him. And so, 3 weeks later, he called and told me he had another position. And for sure, it's not probably what I was thinking about 3 weeks prior, but, he was a man of his word. He called and said, I want to offer you this job. And of course, it took some downtime in reference to me thinking about it, because it was on the other side, in which I've never coached women since graduating out of college, and it was at the middle school. But the attractive part to it was I got to come home from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, back to North Louisiana, and I knew the history of Centenary basketball, considering that I grew up 30 miles from Shreveport. I know of the Robert Parrish and the George Lett and the Willie Jackson, and the list could go on. Jamar Como, and so that was really attractive. But it came on the other side. But still, I knew the history. I knew the history of our choir, and our gymnastic team and baseball. And so that there was a good feel, and I felt like that was a good vibe, and for sure I felt like it would be a good fit, considering that I call this home, considering that I'm 30 miles away, and understanding the culture of the basketball program, both men and women.
Kyra, as one of the veterans on this team, how have you embraced stepping into a leadership role in this senior season? I know this is an exciting year for you. And can you speak a little bit about, from a student athlete's perspective, kind of the transition as Coach Bailey has come in, what he's brought to the program, the energy, and how excited you are to get this senior year underway?
Well, I'm personally excited for this season because new coach, new environment. So I'm really just excited because of the coaching style that Coach Bailey teaches us. He teaches us the fundamental stuff, and I can't wait to actually show that on the court and to also be with my teammates and stuff. And also being a veteran, it's also hard trying to be a leader because we all is more than just me. I'm not the only senior. We all lead in different ways. Like we have one that's vocal, we have one that's also also vocal. So me being a leader, I try to go on the court and just play as hard as I can. That's my way of leading. I'm not very vocal, but I try to be. So my way is to just play hard no matter what.
Coach, you arrive here in Shreveport after a number of years of experience across all divisions in basketball. Most recently, come from that winning culture at Southern. With all that experience, what's kind of been your message, the foundation you're starting to try to lay here in this first season? What have you been really focusing on with your message to these women as you started to prepare them for this first season here as the head coach?
Well, really just trying to get an understanding of my players and who they are, both on and off the court, because it all works together. Uh, and knowing who they are, it dictates to me how I need to coach them, because they all are different. And, the most important part is just them getting an understanding of the culture which I'm trying to bring. And the culture is what's going to help us, build a program here. And secondly, it's more so change their mentality. And Russell, I'm not so sure how long you've been around the SCAC conference, but our women's program have not, done well in the last, 4 to 7, 10 years. And so with that, the mentality, how are you thinking? And so I have to change their mindset. And so one of the good things about what has taken place is that they've been very receptive of my coaching. They've been very receptive of the teaching that I have brought. And from that standpoint, that's good. And so that's a positive in the right way in reference to building the culture. That's a positive in the right way in reference to changing the mindset.
Kyra, you've talked about kind of the excitement coming into this senior season. I'm interested just from your standpoint, how is the team chemistry starting to develop with this group, both on and off the floor? What's the vibe like in the locker room, and what's motivating this team coming into this new season?
Well, our team chemistry is getting better for sure. It's not also about having the chemistry on the court, it's also having the chemistry off the court. So we always hang out together. We always eat at the cafeteria, rather it's going to Walmart, just going to the store. We always hanging out with each other. And the vibes in the locker room are so much better. Like we have the speaker in our locker room. We just be playing any kind of music to hype us up for practice or even like a game. We will always play music. And if the people, because some people also lock in differently, they have their headphones in, they just want their own space. So we also respect that. So our team chemistry is very well. And I think in practice, we're also developing a bigger chemistry on the court, getting to know how each other play, how each other skills is. So I feel like our chemistry is very well on and off the court.
Coach, you talked about kind of your excitement with the way your athletes have started to respond to some of these foundational pieces that you're starting to lay. And it's fun to hear Kyra just talk about how excited she is coming into the season and this new energy. As far as on the court, what are some things you're hoping to establish with this team in terms of style of play? What do you hope to be kind of consistent with this group night in and night out on the floor, irregardless of result?
Well, our identity would be defense. That's my background. I had the opportunity to play, and the only reason I played was because I could defend. And so normally the team mimics the head coach. And so defending, but along with defending, you have to have a great sense of toughness and, and not bagging down and, diving after loose balls and with all of that, supporting each other, that's important. And so if they'll take my identity, and that's what the last 7 to 8 days have been like, just defense, toughness. I think we will surprise a few people. And they're going to be challenging, and I have been very challenging on them, very demanding, and they've responded great, and so I'm excited to see where this is going to go. Of course, we haven't played a game, so we haven't lost a game, so Their mindset has been good. Their willingness to do what it is that I have asked them to do has been great. So, in a couple of, I guess 7 to 10 days, we'll be playing and we will see where it goes at that point.
Kyra, finally, as we wrap up with you, this is such an exciting time of the year, the freshness of a new season, the excitement of this new era, and just listening to Coach and yourself, talk about raising the floor with this program going into this new season. So when you've had conversations with some of the leaders about some of the goals and expectations going into this year, what have those conversations looked like? And just as far as on campus, what do you hope that this women's basketball team is known for? What do you hope that people think about when they hear Centenary college basketball?
Well, I want people to think about us winning games, changing the culture here. So, and we also want people in the audience to cheer us on, more people in the crowd. So we most definitely just want to change the atmosphere and change how people think about us this season. So that's our biggest goal.
And finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, just giving you the final word to the fans of this ladies program as they head into this 25-26 season. What have you seen? What have you learned about this group, their personality, their drive that has you fired up, that you want these fans to know so when they come out to the Gold Dome, they're ready for an exciting year?
A great group of young ladies with all different types of personalities. And because of that, it's exciting to me. And I look forward to coming to work every day. They're a group that's going to give 100% every time they're on the floor. And understand, I said every time they're on the floor, because if they're not giving 100%, they will not be on the floor. Okay. And I think they understand that. And I think from a fan perspective, I think that's what they want to see. Just effort and competitiveness. And that's been one of my driving saying to them, you're going to compete. If you're going to be on the floor, you're going to compete. And I know where competing takes you. And that's the mentality and the culture that we are building. And when you can do that, we're going to win.
Centenary College head women's basketball coach Rennie Bailey, along with leadership from senior forward Kyra Stokes. Coach Bailey and the ladies open up the 2025-26 campaign when they take on ETBU at home in the Gold Dome on Friday, November 7th. Coach Kyra, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you march forward throughout the rest of the 2025-26 season.
Thank you.